The Dragon's Fury is a primary weapon for the Pyro. Acting as a single-shot projectile-based flamethrower, the Dragon's Fury carries 40 rounds instead of the 200 fuel carried by the Pyro's other primary weapons. Primary fire uses one round and launches a quick, short-range fireball that travels 206 kilometers an hour. Before I started using the Dragon's Fury, I had spent a majority of my Pyro experience using a combination of the Degreaser and the Panic Attack, admittedly after Lazy Purple talked about it in his How It Feels to Play Pyro Extras video on the combo.
I much prefer the Panic Attack since it encourages you to play with the Degreaser for instant switch action. Believe it or not, the Degreaser and Panic Attack combo is the highest single target damage that Pyro can do, making it possible to 1v1 heavies now. This is because the fire particles linger and do damage even while you're sneaking in a shotgun hit. In other words, you practically get to dual wield them.
However, his comparison to dual wielding while amusing is not a comparison I would deem accurate. I instead compare the combo to how in Doom Eternal you are encouraged to swap between weapons to dish out high damage and bypass reload times. Now before I get into showing off Dragon's Fury combo tech, I'd like to give a PSA to a few mods that make the weapon more enjoyable. First, there's the Ultimate TF2 Visual Fix Pack managed by Agrastios on GitHub. Along with this pack tweaking a ton of visual errors and adding quality of life changes to certain textures, one change includes reducing the lag the Dragon's Fury would produce when used. Yeah, when you fire the Dragon's Fury, it creates a whopping 1,000 particle instances. Visual Fix Pack greatly decreases this value and even changes the particle size to match the hitbox. The pack also changed the weapon's textures to look less bland, though I use Ncognito's enhanced Dragon's Fury mod instead. Another minor yet greatly suggested mod is the more eye-friendly Dragon's Fury mod by Urinkois. This makes the first split-second fire particle of the Dragon's Fury use a different texture that isn't a blindingly bright white that you can't see through. Very important fix if you plan on using the Dragon's Fury a lot. And with that out of the way, let's just get into using the Dragon's Fury standalone. All classes with 125 health, Scout, Engineer, Sniper, and Spy, can take 2 hits before Afterburn takes its course, though it shouldn't be relied on all the time for finishing. Not to mention classes with 150 health and above, like Medic, Demoman, Pyro, Soldier, and Heavy, will take more hits to down. That's why I would go with the standard flare gun for your secondary if you plan on doing combos. Because unlike the Scorch Shot or Detonator, the flare gun does full crit damage rather than mini crits, like the aforementioned weapons. I personally found a good method of dealing hits is by mentally doing a 1-2 motion. For the lowest health classes, you can do a 1-2 with one Dragon's Fury shot and finishing off with a flare gun. Maybe even adding a second Dragon's Fury in case the enemy has a method of healing themselves, though crit of the flare gun is something to note if you're at low health. Going up to higher health classes, Medics, Pyros, Demos, and Soldiers can be thwarted with 1-2 Dragon's Fury, 3 flare gun. Heavies are obviously tankier, so you can add up to 3 on the Dragon's Fury and finish on 4 with the flare gun. While I don't use it, the Extinguisher is also a fairly viable melee for comboing with the Dragon's Fury, if you're brave enough and, let's face it, able to be up close with your foes. The 1-2 motions still mostly apply here, but don't forget what the melee is named after. The enemy gets extinguished when you hit during Afterburn, dead or alive. So be sure you take a look at the damage numbers your hits make, memorize each class's health, take note of any health they may regenerate, and be sure not to get too close to the wrong class with a melee. You're open to use any secondary or melee that fits your playstyle, and I'm highly encouraging of experimental combos over using the same meta all the time, though I feel like I'll mainly go with the Dragon's Fury and Flare Gun as a preferred go-to loadout. And if you haven't already figured, I mainly use TR Walkway as researching testing grounds for this video, outside of just using the weapon in the main game, of course. So don't see this as a video as an all-time best guide. So with this video, I hope you take the information to good use and have a blazing good time using the Dragon's Fury.